Hello and welcome to the show. My name is John and today we'll continue comparing products starting with the NVIDIA Shield 2017 and the Apple TV 4th generation. Now, set-top boxes is a part of consumer technology which has started to gain a lot of attention these days from companies like Apple, NVIDIA, Google in some cases, and other things like Roku and more budget-friendly options. But the most dominant ones in the market undoubtedly right now are the NVIDIA Shield as well as the Apple TV 4. Now, both of them have features which make them stand out from the crowd, and this is what we're going to be comparing today if you're in the market for getting one of those. So sit back, relax, and let's do this. Now let's start with the looks and feels department. Now both of them do look nice and stylish. The Apple TV though is a bit smaller and also more discreet, meaning that it will actually blend in your setup and your entertainment cabinet in a much easier way. The NVIDIA Shield on the other hand is actually more on the in-your-face aspect of things. I mean, it is a bit bigger consequently to the fact that it has better internals, but more of that later. And actually the fact that it has this nice edged triangle look with the green accent really helps to actually show that it's not something that necessarily needs to blend in. It's something that could easily sit on the top of your TV, let's say stand, and actually stand out on its own. Really, for my opinion, they both look great, whereas, well, it's just gonna come down to your personal taste, which one you think looks the best. The remotes, moving on, serve many things. They are both made out of aluminum and glass, are nice and sleek, and can easily navigate through the software without any kind of hassle. Now the Apple TV remote though is actually a bit smaller and at the same time a bit more functional, considering that it can even control things like your TV volume. They can both accept voice commands via their inbuilt microphones onto the remotes and actually use them in collaboration with the assistants on the screen, either this being Siri on the Apple TV or Google Assistant onto the NVIDIA Shield. I really like the sleek bar that you can adjust the volume with onto the NVIDIA controller, but this is something that I've also mentioned onto my review, which I would definitely recommend you go check out for both on the eye icon on the top right hand corner. Another great bonus for Apple is the fact that it will actually charge via a lightning cable, which is really useful considering that you don't have to change batteries like you would need to do with the NVIDIA Shield controller. Coming back to the devices, I/O wise they more or less serve the same iteration of HDMI of the same generation, a power input, Ethernet board, USB Type-C for maintenance, but actually the NVIDIA Shield has two extra ports, which is as two standard USB Type-A ports. We can actually connect something to charge, either this being a gamepad or something like that, or external media of storage, meaning that you can actually expand the storage of the device with an external hard drive, which is something I would definitely recommend doing because it only comes with 16 GB of built-in storage at the base price, which is really bad even for NVIDIA. I mean, Apple even goes and starts it at 32 GB. Specs wise, it's kind of an interesting story. You see, on the one hand, the NVIDIA Shield in raw specs, meaning in raw processor power, actually obliterate the Apple TV. The custom-made from NVIDIA Tegra X1 processor that the NVIDIA Shield has inside really makes it be shiny, great, and really fast and responsive no matter what you will do with a complicated Android TV operating system. On the other hand, the Apple TV has an A8 chip, which is the same thing that you can find on something like a pretty old iteration of the iPad, but at the same time it's actually really good and doesn't really make the software lag at all, because Apple does exceptionally good job of making it a lightweight and simple to use software experience, but more of that later. They can both output at 7.1 surround sound, and also they can both output 4K. Now keep in mind the Apple TV 4 actually has a second iteration, which is the one that can actually output 4K. This one that I have is still at 1080, which is a bit of a bummer compared to the NVIDIA, which only has one generation of second gen products. I hope that makes any sense, and it actually outputs 4K. Now, last but definitely not the least, I actually have to mention this. Even though Apple TV is really good at the underpowered CPU to actually handle everything, when playing Android games, which are common on both iOS and Android, like Asphalt 8, I actually have found myself getting more lag out of the and frame drops out of the Apple TV instead of the NVIDIA Shield, which actually had none. Speaking of the OS, it's actually a bit of a different and same story. You see, Apple has actually a stripped down iteration of iOS onto the Apple TV, which is called tvOS. It still has over-the-air Wi-Fi updates and things like that, and it's actually very minimal and easy to use. The tiles are nice and big, and you can actually navigate with a touch surface onto your remote pretty easily. A big bummer though would be the fact that it's actually relatively new, and therefore developers are actually really reluctant, or are actually not going around to make apps on the Apple TV App Store yet, which means that actually a fairly small amount of apps can actually be downloaded right now off of the Apple TV App Store. Contrary to that, Android TV is a bit more complicated, but at the same time has many features that you would find onto the Apple TV. You can see the tiles, for example, are actually pretty dead similar compared to the Apple TV ones. On the other hand though, actually Android TV has the entire Google Play Store onto your hands, which means that you can get all games, music, books, applications, and whatever the case might be, without the need to actually make a new optimized app for the Apple TV like Apple do. Given they're made from Apple and Google respectively, they actually have on the Apple TV side AirPlay, where you can screencast your iPads or iPhones or even Mac screen and actually stream music as well onto the device itself via Wi-Fi, something like turning your amplifier, let's say, or your entertainment center into a smarter one, if that makes any sense. And at the same time, Android TV on the NVIDIA Shield has Chromecast built in, meaning you can stream things from Netflix or even YouTube or even Spotify via Spotify Connect, because yes, Android TV does have Spotify right over there without any need of any more hassle. Now, storage wise, even though NVIDIA does have the base point at the 16GB tag, let's say, you can actually upgrade it up to as many terabytes as you want via an external SSD or hard drive. This is what I've done as well. On the other hand though, Apple TV is actually limited to either 32 or 256GB, and that's it. There's no SD cards, no external storage. What you pay is what you get. Typical Apple though. The thing that makes the NVIDIA side actually stand out of the crowd is actually NVIDIA GameStream and NVIDIA Gamecast. These two services are actually either cloud-based or your computer's based, which I've actually gone more into detail onto my NVIDIA Shield 2017 review, which I do recommend that you go and check out if you've done already. And actually, basically in a nutshell, this is a service where you can actually stream full-fledged desktop games onto your NVIDIA Shield, which is really nice for some casual couch gaming, and nothing competitive though, but it's a great feature to have. But it's time to draw a conclusion here. You see, I believe both of them are really good. The Apple TV is more onto the stylish and minimal side, where it actually has only the functional things but actually looks good as well, whereas the NVIDIA Shield is more for all around. It can do things, it looks quite good actually, and it can actually have some more gamer oriented features, which means that if you would ever find yourself willing to play onto your TV, like drawing a massive HDMI cable from your computer to your TV, or just like NVIDIA and Android TV, then this thing is the way to go. If you're more of an Apple fan, you go more into the Apple ecosystem and things like that, then probably the Apple TV is the way to go for you. But anyways guys, that's about it with me in this video. If you like it, be sure to drop a like, and if you dislike it, you can dislike it as well. But either way, subscribe, because I upload twice a week pretty interesting videos, and also guys, be sure to check out the previous one if you've missed it already. Bear in mind that for this month, the month of March, I'm actually going to be doing comparisons between two products. I've got some pretty exciting ones coming up, so you definitely want to stay tuned. But other than that guys, my name has been John, and I'll see you again in the next video. Goodbye.